Good morning, everyone. Welcome to FinClub Presents Data Science and Machine Learning in Financial Services Industry. We welcome our speaker, Mr. Biswajit Saha. As a brief introduction about Mr. Biswajit Saha, he is an alumni of Jadavpur University. He holds a degree in metallurgical engineering and is a pass out of the batch of 2012. He also holds a postgraduate degree in artificial intelligence and machine learning from the University of Austin at Texas, University of Texas at Austin, sorry. Formerly, he was an associate manager at Equifax and an assistant manager at HSBC Retail Banking in the marketing modeling and strategy development. Currently, he is an assistant vice president at portfolio risk management at JP Morgan and Chase. Good morning, sir.
Hey, thanks, Samrat. Thanks for this nice introduction. And thanks for having me here. First of all, hello and everyone. A nice and warm welcome to everyone to today's session. I think, before I start, I just like to say that this is a wonderful, great pleasure for me to come back to my college, to my Jadavpur is really close to my heart. Like I still cherish each and every day, the time spent in this premises, all the interactions, friends, professors, learnings. And I completely appreciate the pool of talent this university creates. And I am also kind of committed to promote my university to at different levels. So when actually Tuhin reached out to me and talk about the finance club, kind of instantaneously I realized that this is a wonderful opportunity for learn and share, sharing my perspective with you and learning from what you are thinking at your age about the overall industry or future future prospects, right? So when I was in college, to be honest, we did not have any such kind of facilities, right? And we used to like really crave out to get an opportunity to interact with people from industry to know what is happening there on an overall level. And it was, to be honest, it was not easily available. And so when I got to know about this FinClub, so I could like recognize this is kind of uh, like uh, kind of a representation of the all global universities where such kind of initiatives are being taken care, and people are really involved, learn through different type of interactions with the industry people. So I was like, I kind of realized this is the opportunity where I can actually share my experience so far and somehow help you build your perspective and get more clarity about the finance industry as a overall, and a flavor from data science. So yeah, I thought of like having this conversation in English to make it more professional. But yeah, like I am really comfortable to speak in Bengali as well. But I believe we have many people joining in. Yeah, we have 52 speakers. First of all, thanks everyone for taking time out on a Sunday morning. Like that's a big task, right? So yeah, and this is really interesting to see that so many people are interested towards finance and data science at such an early age. Uh, like when we are in college, we did not have any clue, to be honest. Uh, and I believe like sometimes what happens, people are interested because you have heard about data science from different different sources online, maybe some of your seniors. But at the same time, you also need to understand what are the kind of opportunities you can actually get within this domain. and whether that is something you really like to do for your life or not, that is also an important thing, right? So this is during this formative year, if you get those sort of insights, it might be helpful for you to come to a conclusive space, right? Whether you want to really want to pursue this field in future or not. uh,
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir. So you want to speak anymore?
yeah, a bit more. Yeah, so today
Sir,
yeah, tell me something.
no, no, sir. Say.
Yeah. So today, that's what, like, so today I want to like share some of my understanding on the overall finance spectrum, data science, its application, and kind of job roles that you can get, right? So quickly about myself, like already Samrat have summarized my journey, but I just wanted to like give it a bit more flavor to that. So like first of all, think me as just one of you who just born early and have a bit more experience. And yeah, so I completed my engineering in metallurgy back in 2012. So when I was passing out from college, I had very limited options in hand with me. Like I had a job offer in the core side from Adhunik Steel, one job from TCS, that is in IT, and I have one offer from IIT Kanpur for MTech. So I was like really keen to know more about analytics. So that was the time when Mu Sigma and HSBC had come to our campus for the first time, probably. Uh, and we got to know about a domain called analytics and data science. But yeah, nothing more than that. It just a name of this domain. Yeah, people do some cool stuff there. So after that, so like yeah, because of my aspirations towards analytics, I thought of like pursuing the opportunity with TCS, which was still not in analytics; it was just in IT. And somehow from there, like I performed well, moved to the analytics division, and that's how my journey into analytics began. And so yeah, like after so when I was in college, so yeah, I tried for HSBC. I could not crack Mu Sigma. I moved to the final round. Then I could not actually convert it. So finally after TCA, so I moved to HSBC. That was like kind of a dream company to me that time. So yeah, like in HSBC I worked into the marketing side of the banking system, solving various type of problem. Then I moved to Equifax. So Equifax is one of the US largest credit bureau. Like you can think of like civil as India. So like in US, the largest credit bureau is Equifax. So I work with Equifax. So with Equifax, I traveled a couple of places in Middle East, Southeast Asia, like as a consultant. And post Equifax, then I moved to JPMC. So which is like so currently I'm with the organization for last 2.5 years. So overall, like I got around a decade of experience into data science and analytics, working for different organizations, various roles across geographies, markets. Uh, so yeah, like after spending this substantial amount of time, I have kind of developed a perspective about the industry, which I'm going to share with you today. And I believe, like, definitely you would get some kind of insight that would be helpful for you in future. And I also got to know that, like, I am the first speaker for this club. So yeah, like that brings with a lot of responsibilities and expectations as well for me. I'll try to make justice to that with best of my capabilities. uh, and even post this session, if you have any questions, any queries, if you want to know anything, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I do not have a presentation today, so I wanted to have this conversation more of a interaction rather than a formal presentation. uh, so I would be talking a lot for the next half an hour or so. And if you have any question, just keep a note of it. I'll take a pause in between, and then we can try to answer them. Does it sound right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I'll start with data science on an overall level. So what is data science? What are the different type of areas the data science community work on? Then roles, what you can see. Then I'll move to banking and finance as a whole, different type of organizations that you can see within banking and finance. Uh, like what are the roles, and finally like the use of data science into the in solving problems for banking or finance system, right? So overall data science, I believe like all of you have heard of it, have already formed an understanding about data science. So data science is nothing but the technique of bringing out information from data. So you have a lot of data, but how to get a right set of information and making use of this information to take decisions, that is the broader perspective of data science. Now within data science you have descriptive science, you have prescriptive science, you have predictive science. So what is descriptive science? So first of all, yeah, before I go into that, like how many of you are already working on data science field? Can you just give me an understanding, or have like done something in this area?
So I think most of us are still working on basic coding concepts.
Okay.
Some are exploring about data science and machine learning.
Okay. Okay, great. uh, so yeah, so first of all, like I talk about descriptive statistics, so it's very simple. Like if I just look at our today's session, we see 67 people have joined. If I just try to understand like the overall experience level, or the overall like people coming from which background, people coming from which year of their education, if I just want to look at that and create a distribution or frequency type of a thing, so then I will understand like okay, like 60% of the people maybe from coming from engineering background, or maybe like overall 30% of the people are from final who are final year students. So all those kind of descriptions that you can get from this data or from this information is like is the descriptive statistic part of it. Right now then moves to the prescriptive part. So basically like once you get those descriptions or informations from those data, then how can you infer something, right? So that is the prescriptive part of it. So basically like you can say like so from today's session, if you just get a description that okay, like uh, maybe the first year or the second year people are not like the presentation from the first or second year people are really less. So based on that information, if you want to like, so next time when you are having having this kind of session, you go back and actually promote or like kind of communicate to the first year or second year students more about this club and try to get them involved and inspire them, motivate them to join this club. So that is a prescriptive part of it in data science. And then comes the predictive part. So in the predictive part is basically where you do certain kind of prediction based on your historical information. So let's say you have this session going on for a couple of times, and the next time when you are planning, you would want to accommodate people in this session, and you want to understand what would be the overall like footfall of candidates or overall footfall of students in this webinar. So if you want to predict that, so that is the overall predictive part of it, right? So broadly, these are the three things. So within predictive, yeah, there are different type of like algorithm that comes into place. One is like more traditional statistical models. Uh, there are things called linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees. So those are a couple of techniques which are more of a traditional techniques which help us to do a prediction. Then you have machine learning techniques, which is kind of more advanced. You have like artificial neural network, gradient boosting, random forest. I'm not sure whether you have heard of all these techniques, but I just thought of like giving you some flavor, some understanding, so that you can go back and Google about it to learn more, right? So all these different advanced algorithm where it comes into place to do those kind of predictions. So that is a machine learning part. And why it is called machine learning, so there the coding part comes handy. So Samrat was talking about people are working or learning different type of codes. So yeah, like the idea is that all these algorithms are fine, but how to optimize those algorithms so that it can actually give the most accurate prediction and the best possible prediction. So that's where the overall coding and the machine part comes in. So you are designing the algorithms to make the machine learn from those learn the inherent trends from the data. And finally, like the AI is more about like making decisions based on all these informations that the machine can gather. So so once you actually realize a particular trend, now based on this trend, how quickly or how easily you can take certain decisions, that is the artificial intelligence part. So you can like, the best example has been this recommendation engine, where like if you go to YouTube and watch some movies, and then very next instance you will see you have certain kind of recommendations coming in that you may prefer this particular movie. In today's generation, the automobile industry, where self driven car has been in quite high. Tesla is making huge money. So what they are doing, yeah, they are also following a artificial intelligence system who are continuously analyzing the data and building trend, and based on the trends they are making decisions instantaneously, right? So this is a broader spectrum of data science. Then I'll come to the different type of roles that you can see within data science. So first of all, it starts with data analyst. It starts with data engineer and data analyst. So data engineer are the people who are kind of managing the overall data. So you have so much of data every day being generated. So the biggest challenge is how to manage those data. So be it the overall database systems or AWS. So these days the big data Hadoop systems. So this data management is the biggest part, and data engineer are the people who are actually doing it. Then you have data analyst. Again, there is kind of overlap between data analyst and data engineer. So this data analyst, they are kind of like from the backend system to making it flow into the front end system. So all these like all these communications between the backend and the front end system, which is being taken care by the data analyst. They also make dashboard, build certain kind of insights, so which ultimately help organizations to take decisions. Then you have data scientists, who are more of the people who use different type of statistical or machine learning techniques to get more meaningful insights from the data. So they work on different type of algorithms, do certain kind of predictions, and based on that they form overall they come up with overall insights on this data. Then you have ML engineer or machine learning engineer and machine learning practitioner. So again, machine learning engineer are the people. So once the machine learning practitioners are the one who actually develop machine learning models, and the machine learning engineers are the one who make it more impactful or optimize those algorithms or optimize the overall platform such a way so that machine learning models can be implemented very smoothly. So this is where the machine learning engineer and the machine learning practitioners comes into place. You have traditionally statisticians and economists, particularly in the banking and the finance industry, who are contributing in this field. So again, like they are using they're using traditional techniques, like different type of forecasting, time series analysis, linear logistic, all those kind of models, to come up with certain kind of insights. You have business analysts. Business analysts are more of people who generally look build insights from the data. They might not be using fancy algorithms, but from this data, like particularly this descriptive and prescriptive statistics, using all of this, they're kind of formulate different strategies and which strategies can help the organization to solve problems. So broadly, these are the wider roles that you can see within the data science field. But having said that, like there are overlap within these roles. Like these roles are not completely defined across all the organizations, because some organizations which are big organizations, they have very clear defined roles. Some organizations who are just growing, for them, like a data scientist may also work as a data analyst, some part of ML practitioner as well. A business analyst can also work on some of the statistical things. So there is a kind of a bit of overlap as well, but that depends on the organization and the industry it is coming from. So yeah, that's an overall view of data science. I think with that, I'll like to take a pause and understand, like, if you have any question here.
So we have collected a few questions from the members. We circulated a form. So Shamrat will show you the questions.
Okay, sure.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one doubt and question, you can say.
Yeah.
Why don't Indian sweet shops and vegetables fruit shopkeepers are not using this? Like how much quantity they should acquire in their shop so that they can sell daily to daily, so that their
I think they should. The biggest challenge is that someone to convince them to share those informations, and once maybe some startup to accumulate all those informations and bring certain level of insights from them. Yes, of course, like a part of it, like if you see the new generation, lot of new startups like Grofers, then Big Basket, like who are actually catering to this area, and based on that they are optimizing their inventories using data science techniques. But the challenge comes when you come to the grassroots level, where people who are actually like the small vendors who are actually selling the products day to day level. So gathering those information is really challenging. So you need some startup to like help them build those system where we can directly get those informations and build into an overall database, and from there analyze those information and finally go back and help them with those information. So yeah, it's not there yet, but obviously like that's an opportunity area.
is this a good idea to take a start from here for us guys?
I do think so. It's a good idea, but we have to also think about the challenges, like how easy you can do that, or like what is the level of what is the level of technology that you would need. First, maybe you may need to do some overall level of survey to understand whether these vendors are willing to share this information, whether they keep a track of their information as well. So those are the challenges that you have to see. But yeah, like I do not see a reason not to think on this line.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then coming to the banking and finance. So in the banking and finance, there are different type of organizations who are working in this space. So first of all, you see all the big banks, like on the global side, you have JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, US, UK, you have HSBC, Barclays. In India side, you can think of HDFC, Axis Bank, ICICI, all these big banks are there. Then you have NBFCs, non-banking financial corporations. So they are not bank, so they do not have banking license, but they actually cater to the consumer financial needs. So on an Indian sense, you can think of Bajaj Finance, Tata Capital, L&T Finance. So if you go for any kind of durable consumer durable product, so basically if you go for buying a washing machine, TV, fridge, so you will see like Bajaj Finance, Tata Capital are the primitive players who are giving you loans. So they are like non-banking financial corporations. Then you have microfinance. So these are the people who are actually going into very deep, like people, small kirana shops, vendors, like going to the rural part of the economy and helping consumers out there. Because like what happens is there, particularly like if you think of a small shop in a locality, in a rural place, so they, when they struggle for finances, they do not get it from big bank, and even sometimes the NBFCs do not actually cater to them. So for them, what happens, like these are there are a lot of microfinance organizations who are actually creating solutions from them and helping them get access to the credit. So you can think of so today's one of the popular name is Bandhan. So so that once it used to be a microfinance organization. Then you have Ujjivan, Vistar, so to name a few. And recently you have fintech organizations. Like there are so many fintech which are growing. Payu in India, the biggest is Payu. In US, the PayPal. Then you may heard of Zeta, Ola Finance, then Simple. So all these different type of fintech organizations which are coming into play. So they do not. So they're trying to solve problems quite uniquely and very different to the way the big banks and the NBFCs are solving, and they are driven by technologies. They're completely driven by technology. So they are trying to smoothen out the consumer journey. uh, yeah, so this is on an overall high level the different type of organizations that you can see within banking and finance. Then I'll go to the roles that these organizations can offer. So I'll start with the product manager. So these are the people who are responsible for designing the product, managing the product. So you can think like these days, I'm not sure whether you have heard of Uni credit card. There is something called Uni credit card. So that credit card product design, the product managers are the ones who would be actually designing this product and responsible for that. Then you have quant analyst. Uh, so these are quant analysts. So they're equity research analyst, investment banker. So again, these are primarily roles which are available in big banks. So MBA in finance, MNs in finance, are the people who are more sought after for these roles. So what they do, like as an equity researcher, you can think of like understanding the future potential of an organization. As an investment banker, you want to see like what kind of portfolio or product or one would like to invest, uh, right? And the third is like the data scientist, so for which we all are here today. So like you understand, like this is more about getting useful informations from the data. I think, yeah, like all the engineering background and the MS in statistics and economics are the more sought after roles, sought after educations for this role. Yeah, and then I'll so again with that, I'll take one more pause. Any particular questions about banking and finance
So,
industry as such?
I want to ask, like, big companies are like making the datas for like huge companies and getting revenues from them. So, how will helping the vendors or micro units, as you said, the local vendors help? Like, they won't pay you for doing the research and all. So, how is that a kind of startup?
So let me first of all get it clear, like your question. So you are saying like the small vendors or the micro finance organizations, they will not pay you for collecting the information. So how do you start? I
Yes,
think
sir.
yeah,
That's like a kind of charity.
true. That is the biggest challenge. So first of all, I think what you can think of, like, yeah, you have to spend some money from your pocket. That is for sure. Or if not money, like, yeah, you have to put your effort to come up with some initial information, or come up with the initial data. After that, what you can do, you can sell your idea and pitch your idea to some pre-seed funding organizations, so who are actually investing on ideas. So that's a part of a startup ecosystem that I'm talking about. So if they like your idea, they can invest in your concept, and with that money, you can start building your bigger prototype. So yeah, like the journey starts with, obviously, with some amount of charity from your side, because you are not doing charity, you're helping the society, and with the motive to like solve bigger problems for future. Uh, so yeah, like think from a longer term perspective, don't think from a shorter term perspective.
Thank
Yes,
you, sir.
we have another question which is visible on the screen about JP Morgan. If JP Morgan faces big challenges, how would you counter it?
uh Faces which big challenge? Okay, it's particular challenges, like, yeah, like you can understand JP Morgan is the world's largest banking organization, particularly in terms of profit. uh, and for such a big organization, there are so many challenges on each and every day. I think one of the biggest challenge these days are solving the fraud status quo. So like with this technological advancement, there have been lot of transactions, lot of information shared online over internet, and this is like leading to a lot of fraud. So we see people who are using fake identities to open a product, get credit, and they use those credit and fly out, or like simply run away, and then we cannot actually track them. There are multiple level fraud. So from the JPMC, like ATMs, we see people are making a lot of fraud in the checks that people. So generally, the checks that people use to withdraw money. So there have been fraud in that space. So I see the biggest challenge these days is in the fraud space, and I think the machine learning and the AI is kind of the helping tools and the techniques which help us to solve a bigger chunk of the problems. So we are using image recognition techniques, speech recognition techniques to develop solutions which can actually identify better trends. Also, like we are using NLP, which is like unstructured data driven unstructured data based methodologies. So we are using the far more advanced technologies to solve all these problems in the fraud space. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah, I'll come to that. So yeah, the next part is that I'll talk about different type of like problems that you are solving in the financial market. So I'll start with that. So on an overall level, if I talk about all the consumer financial organizations who are basically like have either a savings account or the current account, people can save their put their money and gain interest from there, or the organizations which are offering credit card, personal loan, mortgage, all these different kind of credit products. So broadly, all these organizations have three bigger functions. One is that marketing. The marketing functions, what does that do is like marketing functions are generally identifying who are the prospective clients. So basically, as a bank, what we want to do, like let's say I want to sell a credit card product, I want to understand who would be the people who are more interested to take up the product. So there we are using different type of statistical and machine learning techniques to identify those customer, to analyze those customer behaviors, and based on that making certain kind of predictions to understand like who would be the more prospective clients for us. So in the marketing side, there are different things. One is that the acquiring new customers, how to acquire them. The second part is that how to grow them. So first of all, if you acquire them, then there is a part like once you have one product, how to scale up those product, like give you more ticket size. Let's say initially you have taken a loan of 1 lakh, then you were taking a loan of 2 lakh, 3 lakh. So how to increase those numbers? So that is the bigger challenge. And the third part is that like a lot of people who have got acquired use the product and after that leave the organization. So the third important part is the retention. So in all these dimensions, we are using a lot of data-driven techniques and algorithms to make predictions, and based on that, we are taking cognizant decisions to help the organization grow, and also like facilitate customers like a need. The second part is that the risk management function. The marketing function, generally what happens, marketing function says that okay, like these are the people whom you can sell this product, or these are the people whom you can give the upgrade your product. But the risk function has a very different view. So what they say is like, yeah, I can understand these are the prospective customers, but are they really good for our bank? It can very well happen that I give a personal loan to a customer, and once they got the product and after some time they may not pay back. And if they are not going to pay back, then it's a complete loss for this organization, right? So the risk function comes into picture here. Like they try to develop models, or they try to predict trends to understand who would be the riskier customers and who won't be the riskier customers. So the idea is that like, yeah, like all those prospects, I want to figure out the customers who are less riskier customers. So again, this is where a lot of machine learning techniques are being used. And the third area is the operations. So you can think of like every big organizations has different type of operation setup. So let's say a small example could be a call center. When you are facing a challenge with your product, you generally, a customer tend to call up to the call center, and they're responsible to like solve your queries. Now, many a times we have seen, like, we call this customer care and we are waiting in the queue and people are not answering. So what happens in that, like, this is a process level, operations level failure for the bank. So we could not estimate what is the overall call volume the team can expect, and based on that we cannot optimize our overall resource planning, right? So there also a lot of work been going on where we are forecasting call volumes for future, and also like different, what are the broader concern areas people are calling for, and based on that, if needed, designated team are being assigned to solve those problems. So on the operations space, these are the kind of things that we are doing. And think from an HR perspective as well, an HR in an organization who are more responsible for smoothing out the journey for all the candidates and the employees within the organization. So HR conducts different type of surveys to understand what are the key concern areas within the organization, what people are liking, what people are not liking. So based on those informations, we are analyzing, we are getting insightful information, and the HR is actually helping us, helping to build a much stronger organization where people would like to work for longer term and survive. So yeah, so broadly these are the functions and these are the kind of problems that the banking industry is working on, and we are a lot of machine learning and data science like techniques and tools are being used for that. Yeah, with that I think like I am done with my side of things. Like maybe I can take the questions one after another, and additionally if you have something we can try discussing that as well.
So we have two more questions left actually. I think one of the members asked what is the best way to divide our portfolio and manage spendings. This is from some investors.
Yeah, to be honest, like, yeah, I am not an investment banking guy, and for these answers you may have different type of perspective. I can only share my learning and the way I prefer to do it. Like my portfolio side of work is more on the risk side, where I actually manage portfolio risk. Like you have, like JPMC has the world's largest credit card portfolio. I manage the risk of that portfolio for future term. I analyze macroeconomic scenarios and see what kind of impact. So in this pandemic, what kind of impact those macroeconomic changes can bring into the market and the portfolio. So I do those kind of studies. This question is more of a personal financing and portfolio management, which is not my complete expertise. But yeah, I like to see, like to talk about what I generally prefer. I have like 30-30-40 rule. I invest 30% in fixed income product. You may say, like, very simply you can talk about your fixed deposit in Indian sense. Then 30% if you have, like, yeah, obviously for you a student, but once you actually grow and earn money, then 30% I believe on investing on stocks, like that there could be like stocks or mutual funds, both of them. And the rest 40% I prefer to invest on like properties, real estate, that could be commercial, non-commercial, so all those kind of things. So that is like on an overall level, and I personally prefer long-term return. So I believe on portfolio growth on a longer term. Shorter term can give you some money, like, but it will not increase or build on your portfolio. So yeah, that's my perspective on dividing your portfolio, and managing your spending is completely up to you. Like it depends the kind of lifestyle that you want to maintain. The like I personally prefer a very simplistic lifestyle. I do not spend on fancy things, but that's a completely like personal thing. So I cannot actually comment on this part, to be honest.
Sir, I do have a question. May I?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Sir, you are investing 40% of your portfolio, which is a depreciating in nature in high terms. If you consider real estate or physical gold, whatever it is. So, is or how it is impacting the growth of overall wealth?
Good point. I think whether it is depreciating in nature, yeah, that is a short term view. I would say, yeah, like if you see Indian market, maybe for the last decade, we have not seen a real time growth, uh, like in the real estate. But I personally believe, particularly post pandemic, the world has changed drastically. Like the businesses, the opportunities, the economy is like right now we are kind of sitting in the bottom. So I believe from here the outlook would be always positive, and on a longer term, I feel like yeah, like real estate would be a once again would be becoming big. That is again my perspective, like I said already. So and obviously like even the stock market would have its own challenges, right? It has high return as well as the high risk. So it's about how to optimize your portfolio. So that's why one side you keep on fixed asset of which is like FDs, recurring deposits, PPF, and all those things. And then a part you where you want to take a risk 30%, you're fine to do a risk, and you're hoping that it will give you a good benefit for a longer term. That is on the market you are investing. And the third thing is that the real estate. So the biggest thing is that real estate is a securitized product. So even if you do not get a very high return on a long term, but you would be getting like some kind of at least some level of return from this product. So that's whole thing about optimizing your portfolio. Now yeah, like if you are a risk taker, you think that yeah, I want to invest 50% on equity, that's a completely sole decision. But this is my perspective or what I prefer to do.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Considering your portfolio managing 30% debt, 30% stock, 40% commodities, would you like to advise someone who is a risk averse as well as want to generate some short-term income? So instead of going FD or NPS, would you like to suggest them some money market options or somewhat e-real estate or e-gold investment in that 40% sector where we can neglectify the chances of depreciation in nature?
I think those are really good point. To be honest, I am not very like I'm not practicing those on a day-to-day life. So may not be I am not the right person. I may not be the right person to answer this question, because rather I would say like someone who is an investment banker or who are like managing bigger portfolios or working on those kind of financial products, they would be a better person to comment on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So we have one more question left from the circulated form. Since most employees in the major investment banks are engineers and people from STEM background, how can a student with an undergraduate degree in economics get a job in a quantitative field in a firm like JPMC?
Oh, that's a myth, to be honest. Like I would say the story in all the big banks, the majority are economists and the statisticians. these days things are changing. Yes, like through the advancement of machine learning and AI, where a lot of things are driven by coding and hence engineers are being recruited. But if I talk about it, like within the banking and finance, I think 60% to 70% are the statisticians and the economists. Same background people who are there, like they have dedicated education in machine learning and AI, and who are actually like particularly like banking and finance, because this is a very traditional industry. People are working from ages there, and a lot of MBAs are working in this field. So yeah, like economist has a very high potential to succeed in an organization like Chase. The only thing is that undergraduate may not give you the flexibility to move into Chase or any big banks. The way the market works right now, as a preferential or the as a like required study is masters in economics or masters in statistics, and that is kind of considered equivalent to engineering. So yeah, like I'll not say that there is no one who have not been working just with an undergraduate degree in economics, but there is very few. Like you can only count them in numbers. But yeah, like if you just think of masters in economics or masters in statistics, there are people who are actually driving this banking system. And engineers are quite new. Yeah, you can say MBAs, like lot of people, MBAs who are actually like working in the banking. But yeah, engineers are quite few. Slowly they are growing in numbers. Yeah.
So, I have a question. So basically, in today's world, as everyone can see, every day there is a pandemic or a war. The world is changing drastically every day. Like we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, do you think long-term investment is a good idea in this type of world nowadays? Like it would have been a better option 10 years before, but now how is it? Or like taking risks is a better option in today's world?
That's a very like personal opinion, like I said, because see, like all those things changes will happen. Like it is not about this decade is saying that, like if you will go back to history time and again things like that has happened. Technology mover faster, maybe like this is the time when you're even moving even faster. War had happened earlier, pandemic was also there. It is not about like this is the first generation who is looking at, and the ultimate goal is that on a longer term sustainability. So if you can survive for a long term and want to like build on your portfolio, then that's the view we should be looking at. But yeah, like if your whole need is that, yeah, like on a short term you need bigger returns, because that is what I'm saying, that's a personal interest. Because you want to, if you have a like perspective of earning more wealth on a shorter term, then you can take more risk. But like with more risk, the issue is that it may not be a sustainable thing. Yeah, so that's what, like it's completely a personal opinion on that sense.
So we have almost reached the end of the session.
Yeah.
Since most of us are beginners, if you have any particular advice for us, for those who are aiming for a career in this sector?
Oh yeah, first of all, that's sort of saying, like it is great to know that so many engineering and economics and statistics people are interested towards data science at an early age. I think, yeah, you should explore more about the industry, about the opportunities, and then first of all, then try to make a conclusive decisions whether you really want to pursue in this particular domain or not. And that is one thing. The second thing is that like if you, so data science is a very technical field. If you want to survive in this field, so having a like technical degree in this domain is really necessary, like MTech or MS in data science, analytics is what I will prefer, because like on a shorter term, what happened, you may actually come into industry and you can grow, but on a longer term, having those degrees helps you to like grow faster. So yeah, like if you really want to come to this field, think about options, think about higher education in this field as well. And of course, like in the banking and finance, it's not only about data science. You have product manager, quant role, so those are very fascinating roles as well. You can think of exploring that as well, but for that you may need definitely you may need an MBA from a good institution. So yeah, like always keep your eyes open and look for opportunities, and keep on learning, keep on studying.
So, if a person wants to start with data science and machine learning, how will he start from now on?
I think there are enough resources available in the internet. You can actually like look for basic. So one of the very good material that you can think of, Andrew Ng, like he has a couple of lectures which are available in YouTube. You can start looking at those lectures. He has designed the overall course and shared in YouTube. You can start with that, and once you will actually get an understanding of the different techniques and the tools, then you can go to GitHub, Kaggle, then try your own coding and solve problems. So that would be the starting point. And apart from that, there are so many like courses available online, Coursera courses like Udemy. You can try registering them, but yeah, like I can understand the managing the workload with your engineering program could be really challenging. So based on that, like yeah, these are the resources available. Based on your time and like opportunity, you can actually define or commit designated time to learn this stuff.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. As you know, this was our first talk session. So I want to thank you very much for joining us today. This was really a very good learning experience for us. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, hope I could actually give you some kind of insight which would be helpful. And obviously, like best of luck for all to all of you for your future endeavors, and wish you best luck for this club as well. So I'm looking forward to it as a like growing organizations which can actually be creating future leaders. Okay, thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, sir.
With that,
Thank
Thank you,
you, sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir has left the meeting, so we will end the session now. If anyone is not yet a member of FinClub, you can